Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really set for today's videos. Thursday and Thursdays I do Thursday's Thirsty Thoughts, where I try to come up with a topic that's hopefully engaging, get the comment section going, have some cool conversations, and yeah, that's it. As I've said before, sometimes it's hard for me to do live streams, so this is a cool way to interact with people who watch my channel. I am coming off of a cold, so if I sound different, that's why. Although I feel basically 100% at this point. I'm still going to wait another day or two before I start drinking again. I want a few days of feeling 100%. But anyway, so that's why I sound a little off. So I don't know if I've talked about this before, but and you can see from the title, to me, there's like definitely some parallels between beer tubing and the craft beer industry. I think the one I have talked about on camera, and it was like the initial one I had thought, was the like competitive yet collaborative nature of craft beer and the industry and beer tubers. Now there are, craft breweries that don't typically collaborate. Like Treehouse comes to mind. The only thing I can think of that they've ever done is they were part of one of those Sierra Nevada packs. Other than that, I don't remember ever hearing, like Treehouse doing collabs with other breweries. So I'm not saying it's good or bad to do collabs, but like I've definitely seen some beer tubers who like, they just kind of do their own thing, and that's cool, right? Like that's cool that Treehouse does that. And then there's a lot of breweries that do collab. Even like on a much smaller level, you get breweries that will be like, hey, if you have more time, like you go to their brewery and you're about to leave. Hey, if you have time today, guys, there's a cool brewery a couple miles up the road or around the corner or whatever. So like, you definitely get those kind of breweries. And I think you get a lot of those kind of channels as well. Not that I'm huge, but I'm always trying to, like, when I can, work in like, hey, make sure you check out this channel or whatever. So like I definitely, that's like where my starting point was for this idea. And I've had this idea for years like that, but that was kind of, the end of it was, there's like competition where there's only so many people who are going to watch these videos. So like, yeah, I want people watching these videos if I'm taking the time to make them. Obviously, breweries want people to go to their breweries and buy their beer at stores, wherever. So there is like that competitiveness to it. It's still like an industry after all. I wouldn't call the beer tube scene an industry, but the brewery scene, obviously. Whereas there's also that cool collaborative nature of, like we're all part of the local beer trail or whatever, So that's something I really like about it. Even though we're all trying to do our own thing and get our own, views, sell our own beers, there is still, for the most part, this like nice collaborative part of it as well, which I really appreciate. So that's what I had been thinking for a while about this. And then I was kind of like trying to push myself. Are there other parallels I see between the two? And as always, if you have thoughts, comment section below. You think I'm completely wrong, comment below. You think I'm right, comment below. You have other parallels that I didn't come up with, below. But like another one is when people are like bummed out when a channel stops producing content, when a brewery they used to or currently do buy from goes under. I don't want to get into it with this video because it's kind of happening in real time as I'm filming this. But Greg from Greg's Beer Reviews does, no more videos. And if you haven't seen any of that stuff, he's not doing well. And by the time I post this, he might actually have passed away. And I have seen some comments like, oh man, like I haven't, watched his videos in a while, or what, those kinds of things. And it's totally, to me, a parallel of something like an Anchor closing, right? It's like, oh man, I haven't had an Anchor beer in a while. And like, those two are similar to me because Greg's been doing it for a long time. He had, tons of subscribers, all that stuff. So like, it's this other parallel I'm seeing. It doesn't have to just be Greg, obviously, where, Chris from Beer Geek Nation was the first one for me where I was like, I watch that guy all the time and it's just gone. That was more of like a pariah closing to me. I'm like, wait, out of the blue, it's just gone? Like I was actively engaged with that brewery. I was hoping this summer I could finally get down to Baltimore and check them out. It's like done. And then, like Chris from Beer Geek Nation, all of a sudden was just done. It was like, what? Like I was active, so kind of two different parallels there. But yeah, to me, it seems like, and I was going to make this a separate video, but I'll talk about it here. There's like this, contraction of breweries happening, and I don't know how much it's happening where like channels are shutting down, and so it's not quite a one-to-one parallel, but to me it's close. And I used to average about one new subscriber a day, and again, at time of filming this, I had 3 last month. So like normally I'd have, like back in the day, I'd have 30, you know. My views are still roughly the same. I used to be able to guarantee I'd get about at least like 50 views per video, no matter what the beer was, hyped, not hyped, small brewery, whatever. And that's gone down a little bit, but like I'm still tracking holistically with similar numbers for viewership, hours watched year after year, but definitely not always hitting that 50 mark, and less subscribers like being added as the years and months have gone on. And one reason I didn't want to film a separate video for that was it just seemed like complaining and too much of a downer thing. I didn't want it to be that way. It was more of just like an observation. So I thought, you know, do I make these 2 separate videos or just kind of envelope them all together? So again, it's not exactly, in my opinion, a one-to-one parallel, but I think it makes sense if the craft beer industry is contracting some, whatever percentage of that is people are drinking less craft beer, caring about it less, where they're buying less, watching less on YouTube. Like, it just makes sense, you know, that those would go hand in hand. So that's what I came up with parallels that I've seen between the two things. Anything, like I said, anything that I missed, anything you think I overstated, anything that you just think this is absurd and like what a weird connection to make. You think I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for video ideas, then give me some video ideas. I am having a hard time coming up with these Thursdays Thirsty Thoughts videos. For whatever reason, they are eluding me lately. So anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews in both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.